Mr. Wicked Shot back again here with another video. And in today's video, we'll be talking about something very dear and close to my heart and something that I've been noticing that's been on the rise and what I believe it will lead to. And it's pretty dangerous. And it's something that we all should be paying attention to. I know pretty much most of my conservative friends will agree to this, and the tactics that the left is using um, to drum up scared and panic and cause all this stuff. It has a deeper um, goal that they're after, and I feel their end goal is the initial goal. They want to get socialism, pretty much, but socialism usually leads to communism, so it's like you have to start from somewhere to get to somewhere. And the way they start by getting into the socialism state is by start to cause panic and stuff that's gonna destroy, what the country was built on or and stands for, basically like your rights, the constitution, stuff like that. And why this is like something that I feel like is important talking about is because this will actually kind of break down for those that don't get why it's important to break away and to kind of shut, you know, the left down and call them out for what they're trying to do is because one of the biggest important part of the Constitution and the amendment to me is the first amendment, right? First one, so that's gonna be the most important one, right? Your freedom of speech, your freedom to express yourself, assembly, the freedom to press, all that good stuff, right? It's pretty much, under under threat at this point. I would put it as that, right? Because um the stuff that's going around right now, to the point a lot of you can see where it's getting to the level where your feelings are almost now considered more important than your right, and that's sounds not real, but listen to me. I'll give you an example. All right, this is a controversial topic, but it'll work the same. I, for one, don't agree with the Confederate flag being displayed. I know even when I talk to, because I've talked to like some of my friends on the conservative side that are more close to that line that follow and you know go with that conservative not conservative, the Confederate flag, as a part of the history and stuff. And I ask them like, what is the deal about the Confederate flag? Why are you guys so adamant about it not being removed and the statues and stuff like that? Like, because from what I've heard of it, it's just a symbol of hate, just as though the Nazi flag is a symbol of hate. Like, and the way the guy, and both, I talked to two different individuals, both of them, when I asked them what does it even represent, why you guys so hold it so dearly, right? And they're like, it's about Southern heritage to them, and that rebel mentality to them. They're basically explaining what the flag really means to them. And in my head, I'm like, and the guy also admitted in that same breath that yes, he knows that because I brought it up to him first. I'm like, but you know that the Confederates were fighting for, they were pro-slavery. They didn't want slavery to be abolished. So I don't really get it, and he's like, yeah, he admitted that to himself as well, that yeah, the Confederates were fighting for slavery, but in this day and age, that's not what the flag represent to the majority of the ones out there that are protesting the right to be able to express themselves and 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 show loyalty to their heritage, right? That's what he's basically saying is that his generation of now, they just view the flag as and Southern heritage at that, and try to represent the forefather. And I'm like, I kind of see his point. I still don't agree with it, because to me, you know your forefathers were fighting for slavery. You're not a racist yourself, but your forefathers are who you're trying to, um, live, represent. That's what they fought for. But kind of admit to it, they're fighting for slavery. So even though, we know that pretty much none, or probably 1% of the majority, even on the farthest right, are for slavery, would say they're willing, they would, they would love for slavery to come back, because he admit to it, that yeah, there's probably a 1% of them that are still for slavery right now, that brandish the Confederate flag, but that's not what it means to the majority of decent people like himself. Because, and the reason why I asked him is because I told him, like, when I was filled with heat and all that stuff, every time I would see a Trump supporter, I would get mad with rage and immediately classify them as racist, you know. And anytime I see a Confederate flag or somebody with a Confederate flag, whether it's on the vehicle or something like that, I would get mad, even more triggered, to the point where I'm like, I don't see them as a person anymore, and the rage is just like bubbling to come out. That was because of what kept being portrayed over the media about what it represented. Because the media was portraying it to me at the time as just as bad. Someone waving the Confederate flag and trying to defend it is just as bad as someone waving a Nazi flag. And I'm like, I still see it um, as that as well. I kind of see it as that, but I understand what his point is, saying that, you know, just because you have some of them that are defending, or see it as a heritage, southern heritage pride, it doesn't mean you can't classify everybody that has and are trying to defend and protect their history, because you have some that's really for that. They just see it as a heritage. They don't care about what they were fighting for and all that stuff. They just care about it represent, because that's what they determined that the flag that was representative when it came about. It came about heritage and representing the characteristic, which was for them the rebel mentality, which is the to be not told how to live or to express themselves. That freedom to live as they please. Without being micromanaged and told how to live, how to feel. That mentality, which I get. No one wants to be told how to live, how to feel. How to sleep, stuff like that. So that's what that rebel mentality to them mean, and kind of what they really see the flag as. But for everybody else on the outside, like myself included, side as just a symbol of faith. And it's important get into the point, because why this is important is because the media kept portraying it as such a disgusting thing, which a lot of people would agree, that it got everybody, including myself, filled with so much shit that we completely forgot that, yeah, it might not be the most pleasant thing to display or that you want to see, but if it's their right to express themselves however they want to, if it's within the law and the constitution, then it's the right. And it's not right for me to get so mad to the point where I'm like, I don't want to see it. You should take it down, right? That's where I'm seeing, like, um the Democrat is trying to get rid of, seem like they're working on getting to the socialism level where, you know, rights won't matter anymore. It's going to be all about feelings, where, if you feel a certain way, if you feel like, hey, I see that flag, it makes me feel uncomfortable, which for me, it's, seeing it still makes me feel uncomfortable because of what it represents. So it's like two sides to the story. I can see his side, and understand where he's coming from, and he also can see our side and my side and where we're coming from. That, yeah, the flag, I understand what it represents to you, but to the majority, it's a symbol of hate. And but I get the point where not everybody that's trying to defend it is a racist. I get that point, and that's not the correct mindset, and that's where the media had you believing and just looking at everybody as evil and Hitler, that just would walk with that flag. And it's not the case for all of them. Probably there's a couple of them that really just that mentality, but not all of them. And that's how they got me the feeling where everybody I saw that had that on their vehicle or whatever it was, I was, man, I didn't hear anything more than that, but obviously I'm not like that anymore, because that was before, I got my mind cleared up. But yes, essentially what I'm seeing is, just because I feel uncomfortable seeing the flag, or going past it or whatever, that doesn't take away from his right or their right to um express themselves, and assemble. They're assembling, freedom of assembly. They're assembly um, in a parking lot, displaying, uh, um, oh, I didn't explain it to you guys. So I was going to work, and this is where the rage started for the flag, and where it got to the tipping point was I was on my way to work, and I saw a group of individuals that was like assembled in a Hardee's parking lot in like a bonfire style there. They had the chairs outside the vehicle, sitting in a circle, and stamped in the middle, flying high was a Confederate flag right in both sides where everybody could see it. And it was right around where stuff was getting heated in the country, with the George Floyd stuff and the Rashad Brooks and the Arbor thing. So I was heated by that point, and I'm like, that was like, man, these guys are defiant. Like, these are some racist, defiant people. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, you know, one of these guys just mess around. I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what, you know, you can, keep your hateful stuff to yourself, but the minute one of you guys try to, bring that to my family and attack me, I'm not going. It's not going to fly because I'm already on edge. So I'm going to keep. I'll be able to keep my rage under control as long as you're not coming at me, right? But it was still pretty close because I kept complaining. I'm like, man, that shouldn't be allowed. How are they able to like, just brandish a symbol of hate like that? Someone should tell him to remove it, and close up shop. They're obviously, in my head, I'm thinking they're obviously trying to get a reaction because if they wanted to just have a discussion, they can do it, at home. Why would they be gathered in a public, restaurant doing something like this? Because they know they want it to catch people's attention so that they can stoke the flame. So that's why it made me mad because I felt like they were trying to poke the bear, right? And it was kind of working, it was poking me, but after being able to take a seat back in the spot that I'm at now, I can see why I was wrong. That wasn't my fault anyway. I was kind of basically programmed to feel that level of heat just for someone expressing themselves, and practicing the First Amendment right, assembly. That's the right expression. That's the right. The only time it should become a problem if it's violating the Constitution and the right. It's not violating it, just as though we can protest, police killings by kneeling, right? That's your freedom of expression. You're allowed to do that. Um, they in the same breath are allowed to boo you for kneeling because they're protesting, you're protesting, but there's a disconnect because there's people that are on the left that are getting mad um at people on the right for booing, whoever is kneeling, right? And saying, oh, how dare you guys boo us when we're kneeling, and we're trying to bring awareness, you know, to what's going on, and the counter to that is like it's a double standard, right? You're saying, you should be able to protest, and yes, Neil, you're able to protest, but then you complain if someone is booing you while you're protesting. There, them booing is a protest as well. So if you are allowed to protest, then the other side is allowed to protest as well. Neither one cancels out the other, right? And it's the same thing. It works, for the Confederate thing. I didn't want to spend that long on it, but it kind of, helps break down what I'm trying to get at, which is, if it's within the Constitution and they're allowed to do it, and the Constitution allows them to do it, then there's really nothing you can be mad about it, and just be mad about it, but you can't do anything. But we're at the point now where, because of the cancel culture and feelings being seem to be, on the rise, where feeling is coming to be more important than your rights now. Where if someone just don't feel happy about seeing you do something, it can be taken away, right? Just as though you can see with the they're working hard to remove the Confederate monuments, which again, like I say, I am not against because even though I get, like I said, where the guy's coming from, that to the majority of them, the good guys there, it doesn't represent hate to them. It's just a heritage thing and a culture. Um, but to the majority, it just represent hate. So if it represent hate, I think it just should get rid of it, right? There's other ways you can, I guess, you can find to, show your alliance to your forefathers or something like that. But that's the way I see it. But that shows you right there that, something's on the rise where feelings are now, slowly taking over your right. And if we don't pay attention to what they're doing, pretty soon we won't have any right anymore. Right's gonna be gone out the window. And it's just gonna be line of feelings, right? Like, you know, you can almost see where speech is getting, silenced, where you almost can't freedom of speech anymore, right? Um, so it's getting close and close to the part of, into that socialism mindset and setup. And then once it gets there, next after that is communism, so we have to be careful, right? The way another way to explain how I can see and just being a level-headed person, understand, like I said, I don't want to see any Confederate flag. I don't agree with it, but my mindset now compared to then is I don't get angry when I see it, because it's not going to help me getting angry. So, and it's the right as well. Just as though, if this makes it easier to understand, it's my right to wear a Manchester United hat if I want to, right? It might make someone feel uncomfortable seeing me wearing a Manchester United hat to show my allegiance to Manchester United because it makes them feel uncomfortable because they had bad memories. They're not a fan of it. They gotten beaten up, by Manchester United. A Manchester United supporter in the past or whatnot, because of a game. So whenever they see the logo or anything to do with Manchester United, it offends them. So because it offends them and makes them feel uncomfortable, I shouldn't wear my hat. I shouldn't express, my allegiance to, my club. I'm a fan. I'm a supporter of Manchester United. So you tell me even though it's my right to, show my appreciation for my club and loyalty to my club, it's my right to do that, to express myself. Just because it makes you feel uncomfortable, I shouldn't wear it. That's, basically that's what it's getting to. That's what I'm trying to, get across to you guys, that, like, the left are pushing um this propaganda campaign, this scare tactic, and all of that leads to what they're trying to get everybody into, feeling scared and forgetting that, some stuff that you're getting mad at is within the Constitution. It's the right. It's the right to assemble in armies and display the loyalty to whatever they want. If I don't like it, I just have to close my eyes and keep moving because it's a part of the law. It's just like I was told that because I even asked somebody, I'm like, isn't the Nazi flag like banned? Shouldn't you get in trouble for even waving because it's a symbol of hate? I feel like waving a Nazi flag or a flag that symbolizes hate should be just as bad as using the N word. That's why I like the way that, I admire what they do in England in terms of, like, in England. Um, at least this thing is that, you can go to jail for using the N word. Like, you can get, you get sent to jail for using it, right? Because it's a symbol of hate. I believe anything that falls in that category that symbolizes hate, you should be able to get in trouble for it, really. So that same goes for the flag. The Nazi flag, symbol of hate. It shouldn't, it shouldn't be allowed because it's a symbol of hate, right? It's sending hate. Um, you're sending the wrong message. So, people will see, well, the Confederate flag is the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. But, as far as we know, there's no, violation. There's no law being broken in terms of, like, them not allowed to do it. It's not morally right. But, it's within, they have the freedom being American. That's a part of the Constitution, freedom, that they're allowed to express themselves and do it, even if it makes you feel unhappy. And that's what we have to keep on remembering and stop being so sensitive. And just, like, if you don't like it, just, ask them to change the Constitution where, feelings matter over rights and or something like that. But yeah, so that's the best way I could, like, piecing it together to make it make sense is, you know you was my team, and because it's the same thing. You're lying to a flag because there's a Manchester United flag. There's a, Trump, "Make America Great Again" hat. You seen that hat, that Trump hat, it makes you uncomfortable because you just don't have good experience with the conservative side, so you don't want him to wear it. But it's the right. It's a right to express themselves. But in a lot of cases right now, you'll be seeing where your rights almost don't matter anymore. Like there's a lot of videos of guys trying to practice their um, First Amendment audit, and they're going to places and try to do what they're supposed to be allowed to do because of the First Amendment, and they can't do it because people are saying they feel uncomfortable. They're getting locked up for it. So you're getting locked up for doing what is provided to you by the Constitution. That is scary. That's what I'm telling you guys. It's getting to a place where you're gonna lose your gun. Hopefully it doesn't get you, but stuff that are protected in the Constitution is what they're trying to get rid of. And once that your rights are gone, you fall into socialism. Once you fall into socialism, you fall into capitalism, you fall into, communism. It's not gonna get good. It's not gonna get better from there. So, that's why I'm on this side, because I want to have the freedom to express myself, and I see the benefit to that, you know, and that's the beauty of what I understand with my friends on the right is that even if they don't always agree, right? Because that guy that talked to me about, why he's for his flag and wants it to stay around. We in the same, we're on the same side, right? But we don't agree on that point, where I see why he wants to keep the flag and be able to display it, and I explain why I don't feel, it should be around anymore, right? But we still a family at the same day, there's no hate, there's just discussion and understanding between both sides, and respect each other to understand, like, hey, that's your right to express yourself, and that's my right to show my expression and speech. So, it's one of those things, right? So, we just got to keep aware, watch what the left is doing with the media propaganda, trying to scare people into doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and trying to get people to start fighting for their feelings more than their right, and then you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it once you don't use your rights. You're gonna lose it. So let's stay woke, and keep that walk away going and strong, so they know that, hey, that tactics ain't working anymore, and you guys need to find a new one. So this is Mr. Wicked Shot out, and yeah, good ups, and you guys take care. All right.